Hey, how you doing, everybody? Anybody watching this? My name's Zach, aka Zemo. I'm from Mableton, Georgia, right outside Atlanta, and I just wanted to drop some opinions about Nick Fuentes specifically, and the interview he did with Piers Morgan, and the Groyper movement, and all this nonsense. I might curse a little bit. Um, but I'm gonna try to keep it PG. So basically, like, if anybody think that this is first off, Nick Fuentes is a well-known white nationalist, leader of the Groyper movement. He's like 26, 27 years old, from Chicago. He's half Mexican, half Italian, and he basically is a anti-Semite. He prefers whites over any other race, so he's a racist. He's a racial realist, so he believes it's not just skin deep. There's big differences in things like IQ and temperament and other meaningful things. Difference between the races. That it's not, you can't fix things like by just environment. Um, he's a Catholic, supposedly, even though he exhibits some of the most unchristian behavior you could ever think about. But oh, thank God, I have a cigarette. But anyways, I wanted to talk about the disconnect and the problem people are having with Nick Fuentes. Nick Fuentes, besides hating and blaming Jews, and if you don't believe me, just research the clips. And if you want to deny the clips, then you're just not really living in reality, or you're just not willing to call obvious anti-Semitism anti-Semitism. He's an anti-Semite, big time. It's all the straight down the line stuff. White replacement theory, all of it. Holocaust denial, all of it. Now, the problem Piers Morgan had with Nick Fuentes is he tried to corner him in logical traps or moral traps. Like, oh, you're a Christian. Yes. Do you believe all humans deserve equal dignity under God? Yes. So how can you joke about the Holocaust, one of the worst mass atrocities of all time, and cheer on the man who started it, Hitler, and also say you admire Stalin, who killed more people than Hitler in over a longer period of time? Those obviously don't line up, but it doesn't matter. This is the post-truth era. Trump ushered it in with alternative facts. And Nick Fuentes is all about the vibes. All about the vibes. He believes in basically nothing as like concrete stuff. He might have a belief one day and change it the next. But he has zero philosophical grounding morally. He seemed very shallow theologically. And by definition, if you don't have a decent philosophy, then philosophy and theology are sort of interchangeable. It's just back in the day, it was only religion, so it was only called theology. Well, that's not true, but they're very similar. An ontology and a theology are very similar. But anyways, he has no constant epistemology. He has no constant moral appeal besides divine command theory, which he contradicted with the most basic dilemmas. The Euthyphro dilemma is, are things good because God says they're good? So, are things good because God said so? Or does God say things are good because they are? So, if God told you to kill a baby and you believe that God is always moral, you would have to kill the baby, and that would be the moral thing to do. But if God told you to kill the baby and you said no, that's an immoral thing, then you're appealing to a morality outside of God. So it's a dilemma, it's a paradox of the claim that morals emanate from a God or God. So he doesn't even believe in that, really. He just, basically, any show he gets on, he's a chameleon. He's a snake. And I don't use that as like a pejorative necessarily. I'm literally describing what he is. He'll come on any show, read the room, know how far he can push things. He definitely tones it down for Piers Morgan, but people have to stop making the mistake of trying to argue facts with this guy, argue on moral grounds with this guy. You bring up the Holocaust, and he will literally just laugh and meme you. That's what we're dealing with. That's what we're dealing with. You can't, when there's no, it's like the pigeon that shits on the chessboard. It's he's very smart in political recall, so he knows about the Gore Bush election, and he knows about which podcaster said what and what year and when BLM started, and Henry Kissinger, and he knows a lot of political history and facts, and he knows maybe if you don't know the exact details, he knows the overall gestalt, the overall sort of blurry, unfocused image of what happened, and he can articulate that very well. But that is just information recall. When it comes to him actually analyzing things from first positions, from using rational argument, logic, and implementation, he's actually fucking awful. He's awful. Watch, if you don't believe me, watch and then he'll do a thing where, oh, I believe this thing. You don't believe this thing? And then when a person says, yeah, I don't believe it because X, Y, and Z, and they're all really good arguments, he'll back off and sort of say, well, I'm not really sure. But if he had 5 or 6 of his friends with him that knew a lot about it, he would be all over the guy. You don't know what you're talking about. What about this? What about that? He's a grandstander. He on Piers Morgan, Piers says why, he asked him something like, why are you doing all this? And he literally said, for all of this, meaning for the TV exposure, for the attention. Y'all are literally, and I am too, but I'm trying to spread the message about who he is. I don't give a f that he's an anti-Semite or a racist. That's like second or third level. That's like low IQ shit. You gotta realize he's intellectually, philosophically, morally, he's nothing. And I don't mean that as an insult. Like, it's literally a description of his brain. It's empty. When asked about proof of God, he said the Shroud of Turin. I watched a lot of debates with a lot of really smart theologians, and I know theologians are not dumb enough to bring that up as actual evidence for a God. The Shroud of Turin, out of all the other arguments you could take, that's a fucking low IQ, dumb, no philosophical, no-and-ass argument. All he does is vibe with racists and anti-Semites and just memes. Everything is a psyop. Everything he says, he contradicts, either with his own words, by say he was talking about voting Democrat, then not even voting Trump. He wants to repopulate the white race, but he doesn't even mess with girls. He's probably gay or asexual, or maybe he is really straight, even though he comes off very effeminate. He doesn't practice what he fucking preaches. He's a hypocrite in every imaginable way. Every imaginable way. In the realm of ideas, in the realm of behavior, in the realm of what he calls out other people for. Yet he does it himself. It's not just a mental or logical contradiction, it's a performative contradiction. When you're literally performing something that you are denouncing at the same time. It bothers me that people cannot see this. That when really pressed on, is this right? Is this wrong? He has no morality. He has no morality. Like, philosophically, there's no grounding to anything. He's just a kite blowing in the Groiper winds of what he's created. Also, there's arguments that he's a psyop, like they talk about they have a kill switch on everything. He's a gay dude who demonizes homosexuals. He says he's religious, but he's had associations with child sex traffickers. I saw that in a video. I don't know how true that is, but it wouldn't surprise me. What else? He's not even all the way white. Like, he's literally half Mexican. His family are immigrants, but he says to hate immigrants. Like, every single obvious landmine. They're not even well hidden. They're well known. Obvious, like, end your career, make you look like a fool landmines have been stepped on intentionally by Fuentes. And then he goes, who gives a shit, right? I mean, come on, guys, come on. And they fucking just keep listening to him. It's just entertainment, reality TV show disguised as politics. I don't know, I'm rambling here, but I just want y'all to understand there is no logic to Nick Fuentes other than personal gratification from attention. That's all he wants. If he could do this shit as a SJW, he would. He's a grifter. But I think he actually, the only thing is, I think he actually enjoys it and likes it. The two things he will always believe in is not liking Jews, that the Jews run the world, and that racial preference for white people. Those are the two subjects that I've never seen him flip-flop on. And maybe you could throw in the Catholicism. But besides that, I've seen him flip-flop on every single political issue. Every single one. Or if he has a position, he's subject to change it. Milo Yiannopoulos, who knows him well, said the exact thing. And I know Milo is not a trusted source, but I think he was speaking honestly when he said that. And I'll just give you a little bit of homework. Nick Fuentes is a conspiracy theorist. He believes in all the conspiracies, right? So that's already a fucking red flag, right? Like, some conspiracies are true, but not all of them are true. He believed, or used to believe, when he went on Destiny stream live, and people were going to say, Destiny. But Destiny, I don't agree with the stuff he's making fun of people getting shot. That shit's fucking ridiculous, and he needs to stop doing that. I understand what he's trying to say is that the right acts a certain way, and then they expect the left to just like cry tears of ultimate sadness. But anyways, Nick went on there saying he didn't believe in 9/11, the government official story of what happened on 9/11, and he was pretty seeming cocksure, and Destiny just sat there and rattled off like 10 reasons why Nick's wrong. And Nick sat there like a little submissive bitch as he got pwned. As he got fucking pwned in the debate. And then you can watch another video where, like, I guess a few months later or something, it was, and this is when they was live next to each other the first time. So if it was on the screen, Nick probably would have talked a bunch of shit or been a lot more bombastic, because you're not sitting right in front of the person. There's something about sitting right in front of a person that keeps people fucking humble and honest. I don't know if it's the threat of violence. I don't know if it's a psychological thing. But he was on the stream with Destiny, and then he had that fucking asshole not Hassad Infrared. I forget his name. He came and gone like the wind. Uh, some fucking weird dude used to do a bunch of coke and shit. Amarez, some fucking weird name. Anyways, Destiny. Nick starts off by saying, "Hey, Destiny, like you're like a computer guy, and you're like, oh, facts and logic, and I'm gonna debunk this, but it's like, he basically tried to shame him, make fun of him, and say you're wrong because I guess vibes or something." And it was such a stark contrast from how he was talking to and addressing Destiny when they was together. Like Melina, Destiny's girlfriend, brought them a tray of sandwiches, and Melina's an attractive lady, and I know they got divorced and shit. But Nick's like, "Damn, you got it good, man." He's like, "Damn, you got it going on over here." And Destiny's like, "Yeah, man, whatever." And then they're fucking on the video call 2 or 3 weeks later, and they basically bully him for being a liberal, for being bisexual, for not being Christian, for basically not believing in conspiracies. Yeah, but face to face, he couldn't do shit mentally with the conspiracies. He couldn't do it. He didn't know none of the facts. He couldn't fucking debunk what Destiny was saying. He had no fucking recall when it came to that. His knowledge is like, it's like a mile wide lake that's an inch deep. He knows all these figures and all these different events, but if you make him dig deeper into the details, I'm sure there's something he knows a lot of the details of, but for the most part, if you make him dig into the details, he's gonna contradict himself. He's gonna not know something. And at the end of the day, all he fucking has is a shoulder shrug. Oh well, I got fans that watch me. I got fans that don't care that I'm inconsistent. I don't have fans that give a shit about logic and morality. And so you could just say whatever you want. You could say whatever you want. As long as they feel like you're on their side somehow. Anyways, this is just way longer than I intended it to be. But whoever watches it, and whoever doesn't, does it. But this is who Nick Fuentes is. I'm not going to say I've watched the most of Nick Fuentes of anybody in the world, but I've watched enough to see this pattern. He's a fucking empty shell. He's an empty husk. I don't know what he believes. I don't even know if he knows what he believes at this point. And where the fuck is he getting his money from? I thought his banks were frozen, but he's always dressed in nice clothes. I'm not trying to take his money away. I'm just curious, like, who's funding you? Super chats? Is it super chats? I guess he makes money off in super chats. But I don't know how that banking shit works. I guess he got it in somebody else's name. I don't know. I'm not pocket watching people. But he's an empty vessel, man. He's an empty vessel. But if people can't grasp the idea that words and ideas are inextricably linked, ideas and actions are linked inextricably. If a person has mean, hateful, rude thoughts and ideas, especially towards maybe a group of people, combined with ideas that they're worthless, etc., etc., and they do happen to get violent, there's a very large chance that they'll take out their violence on that group because they don't like that group. This is fucking psychology 101. So this is why people get upset about speech and being responsible with your speech. Of course there's hate speech and all these fucking, I'm white, and obviously, and I fucking hate the whole SJW racism, BLM bullshit. I'm not with none of that shit. But of course, I think racism is real, and these people that say racism isn't real, or pretend like anybody saying you shouldn't say these words or have these thoughts are just doing it to discriminate against white people and make white people feel bad. It's like, no, because people will say, oh, racism doesn't exist, it's just a word to keep white people down and make them shut up. And I'm like, oh, so racism don't exist, so if 5 black dudes called a white boy a cracker and beat him half to death, and dump mayonnaise on his head, that wouldn't be racist. And of course, they're gonna say, yeah, well, that'd be racist. I'm like, well, you contradict yourself. You're a fucking dumbass. Of course, racism exists. Like, people just want to be so contrarian these days. Like, they want to try to reinvent the wheel. Like, there's so much knowledge that's already out there. I know you're trying to be your own person, and the internet overloads people with information, but people need to stick to the basics. When somebody says something, like Nick Fuentes says, this event happened in World War II, or didn't happen in World War II. Go to the original fucking sources and look up, how do we know this is true? Is this false? Etc., etc. You got to look at the original source. I mean, this is like research 101. You don't read an article that is an article talking about another article that's talking about a book. You read that fucking book that all these articles are talking about. It's like if you want to learn about Christianity and the Bible, you don't talk to a guy who knows a priest who read the Bible. You read the Bible. And yeah, so it's not even up for debate whether Nick Fuentes makes good logical points. He doesn't. He's actually devoid of logic. He's all emotion and memes. And he speaks. This is one other thing. Anytime he's talking about people as groups or even individuals, he uses stereotypes all the time, unconsciously. He's always framing an individual or a group in the form of a stereotype. And it could be a positive stereotype, like, oh, back when in the 50s and 60s, the black people were well kept and had good manners and had their stuff together. The stereotype of the intact black family. And then he said, and then things went wrong, and now there's thugs running all over Chicago. And again, stereotype. But he'll stereotype the good and then stereotype the bad. And then if you say, oh, you're racist, you shouldn't say that. He said, well, I said they were good, and then something went wrong. But anyways, he's always speaking in stereotypes. Always. So he is the biggest player of identity politics. He can't talk about politics without it being based on identity. He can't do it. It's not in his fucking repertoire. That is his repertoire. That's like asking Houdini not to pull out of a straitjacket or do no magic. That is his repertoire. It's to talk about stereotypes. And with stereotypes, you can cut it and slice that shit any way you see convenient. Any way you see convenient. I'm telling you. That shit is low IQ shit. Like Nick, he's smart in certain ways, but he seems almost fucking like he has autism and something in his brain that's wrong. He kind of look retarded if you look at the boy. He got a scrunched up face like he's sort of retarded. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just being honest. I'm being fucking honest. I hope people see this video, because I'm just really just riffing off the top of my head. But everybody that's giving this man attention, and this is the only video I'm going to make unless I get thousands of fucking likes and comments, and then I might make a follow-up with any questions or anything. I'm not an expert on Nick Fuentes, by the way. I just know fucking bullshit artists when I see it. I pay attention to what they say, and you know what I mean? This is just common sense to me. And it's really sad that I hope a lot of people follow him ironically. There's a lot of YouTube channels that I watch ironically that are racist or whatever, or sexist, and I sort of watch them ironically, or I'll watch them to sort of see what my political opponents are saying, so I know their arguments. And I wonder if a lot of his audience watch him ironically. I don't know. But anyways, that's my breakdown of Nick Fuentes. Just what his mind is. And if you're a political pundit, like, this isn't sports, this is a mind game. This is an idea realm. And then, of course, he does have the ability. He's a charismatic, likable guy. But you can be in a buttoned-up, nice suit, looking like you're going to church and say, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, but still espouse the most hateful things in a nice voice. That does not make you a nice person. It just makes you somebody who said it in a nice way. What's the difference between somebody saying, I would really love to kill you and take your heart out and feed it to you, and motherfucker, I'm gonna take your motherfucking heart out and feed it to your bitch ass, fuck you. What's the difference? A fucking nice tone of voice? Ooh, big fucking deal, right? That's what Nick Fuentes is. He's the first one. He says horrible things in a nice voice and says, whoa, 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 guys. Whoa, 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 you're calling me white supremacist, anti-Semite. And for the record, I don't think he should have been like banned from banking and put on a terrorist watch list unless there was evidence that he was actually planning terrorism or had anything involved with that. But we all know when you hit the anti-Semitism rail, shit gets real. The powers that be really can come together over that shit. That's all I can say. That's all I'm gonna say right now. But anyways, guys, again, my name is Zemo, Zach Morgan. You can find me on YouTube, Zemo One and Done. That's ZMO, the number one, letter N, and the word done. One and done, baby. This is me talking about Nick Fuentes, and hope y'all have a great rest of y'all's day, and Merry Christmas. The happy holiday shit. Merry Christmas, okay? And Muslims and anybody else, y'all have wonderful time too. I don't know exactly what y'all do for Christmas, but just stay away from the damn Christmas markets and shooting them up in UK and shit like that. You can come, but just not be up. Don't. They got to put barricades in the UK because they can't ensure people's safety at Christmas markets. Because there's so many radical Muslims that, I guess, want to shoot people at the Christmas market. I don't know how ginned up that is and how fake that is, but I seen it on like a real news channel, not like a bullshit, not like a bullshit channel. It's like a real, like, local news channel. So anyway, that's crazy. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on in the world. But anyways, I'm out, man. Peace. Bye-bye.